Hello to Holyoke, Massachusetts, and we're going to talk about the very many mills of Holyoke. And there's a lot of mills that are on the canal and took the power from the canal, but after 1895, they didn't have to be on the canal anymore. Electricity came around, trying to get mills off the canal also. And some companies had them on and off. And so we're going to talk about the ones mostly on the canal, because those are the power canals. And in the distance, you see many mills. There used to be one more, the white and paper mill. It's now gone and it filled the gap now. But in the close distance, you had a mill that made cotton products. It's called the paper mill. And in the mid-ground, you had another mill. In the mid-ground up there, you had another mill that white and paper took over after 1927. But before that, it was the first ever mill in Holyoke. And the original part is still there. It's the rightmost 2/3 of itself. It was called the Lyman Mill. Nowadays, for the past 24 years, it's now open square, a retail area. Now, in a very far distance, hard to see, is the Hadley Mill. And that is the second mill from Holyoke ever. All of them on the second level canal. And we're going to point now towards the southern direction. This way. The sun is incredibly bright today because it's the first day of summer. So even though it's 5 o'clock, the sun is blasting high up in the sky. All right, now there used to be over there the Skinner Silk Mill and the Far Alpaca Company, and they used to make silk and alpaca wool respectively. They're both pretty much gone. The Skinners moved from Williamsburg 150 years ago, and they had a mill right in front of the modern day computer center. And then in the extremely far distance, the Germania Wool Company beyond the telephone poles, it has this mill number 2 still out there, but mill number 1 is gone. Right? So all of these were drawing off the water. The first level canal coming downwards 120 feet with a 20-foot drop. The drop was always at the back and into the mill number 2, which received the water and distributed the water for more power. Right? And it had, the canal had 3 levels, and so there's 3 different sets of mills around this area. First and second level is the original mill area. Then second and third is the next mill area, and the Germania that we see in the distance part of that. Now, out of the mills that came later and didn't use canal power, they used electricity, the Cubic Company across the street, which is American Covered Wire Company, they would draw from electricity and make wire, twisted wire, covered wire, so forth. Right? Then across the street there's more mills. There's the Armor Provision Company, which mostly made packaged meats, and they're off the canal. And then last one I'm going to point out today is there's the Judd Paper Company, which can Gateway City Hearts, but they were off the canal, but they came by 1915 or so. All right, so when you talk about the mills, there's many of them, over 60 mills and on the canal, and then if you count the ones off the canal, there's another 20 or so. So it's an incredible feat. All right, so what we're going to do for you at the very end here is get a 360 panoramic. Now, if you think that was too much, too fast, then every mill in Holyoke, I made a podcast and will make more. And every mill I made a video of, if it shows this. And every mill has their own page on my website. So maybe 100 different mills have pages. Why the extra from what I counted before? Because some mills changed over into other hands and drastically changed production. If they stayed the same, basically, I had them one page. But if they drastically changed production, then I would have a new page. So I have like 100 pages now just for all these mills. all right? And I talk about the canals. And so, thus, these mills are the back, well, I don't call them, are the nerves, are the muscles of Holyoke, with the backbone being the canal system itself. Thank you very much.